Hello. I hope everyone's doing well. Hello, eyes to see. Yeah, Kira, she just got in. Usually we don't worry about her, but it was kind of late tonight. Ah. Well, I was just because last time I was on, first of all, I want to kind of explain after this happened and I got hit with that beam of energy and that reptilian was swirling my frontal lobe. Like ever since then, it gets super tight. Like whenever I have digital interference and stuff like that. And that's where, if you think of this transmission, this script that I'm always talking about that we get and most people don't know is actually like being sent to us, it comes through our frontal lobe or the top of our head and then interacts with the rest of our body. But so when that gets like really tight and I'm doing these videos, it's like the words coming in will literally get gripped and I can't think about what I'm trying to say. But yeah, I mean, it feels just like a muscle, like really, really tight in the front of my lobe. So sometimes I have a much easier experience like doing these videos, but usually it gets like really difficult like right away. So I'm sorry that I can't find my words a lot and that sometimes I go off track, but that's the reason why it's happening. Okay. And then I also wanted to go, last time I was kind of like trying to explain. So our physical grid, like the houses, the streets, everything like that comes from the male template is what I've seen and experienced. So like our partner is projecting that down here and the archon are like holding it. So the female is, let me show you guys because I know everybody doesn't know what the stuff looks like, but I always think that they do. And probably most do here. But for those that don't, I'll show you what I'm kind of talking about. This isn't at all what mine looks like, but it gives you like a better idea. Can I move that? Well, anyway, I can't make it any littler. Shoot. There a better one? Oh, here we go. Okay, so it's like your body, and then these would be like Aeon orbs, and just the whole way that it's set up is like through nature and gems and all of that stuff. But I'm gonna go in more to how I see it. Like my body is technology, like with the light and gems and stuff like that. Because what I'm seeing, all this work that I've done over the past 6 years, I've seen it physically working through where I live. And that's kind of what I've been trying to explain, that there's like this whole entire lake is full of these mansions, but we don't have any shops or anything. So, like, the Hamptons and stuff like that, they have like even just their gourmet food shops and everything match the houses and money there. And then my place, it's like a totally dead grid, but there's just tons of mansions. So there's like no shops like that. Like we have two grocery stores. There are no shops. Everything is closing. I mean, it doesn't match the demographic of people that supposedly are buying and building all these houses here. Like it's a dying grid big time. And that's what I'm working on collapsing. So I did some pictures to show you guys. And my boyfriend and I, right after I had my Kundalini, I lost all memory of everything. And a big part of it was like all of the music that I listened to and everything. I couldn't think of any of it. And just a lot of my past, like basically I could think about who I am, where I am, but everything that I had like stored up as far as remembering, because my kids live like 3 hours away from us. So, and that's where my boyfriend and I both spent 20 years of our lives, 20 plus years. Well, after COVID hit, we would go back there and not know like how to get around town or anything. It was really weird. It was like this major fog that came over him too. And I noticed like here where we live now, everything was like kind of stuck in the 90s, like our house, everything. We weren't fully furnished, but every house that we've rented up until now has been like 90s, like furnishings and stuff like that. And I noticed like every house that we kind of visited, for the most part, some weren't, but mostly they were like 90s. And we were looking to buy a house around that time, and all of them were like 90s, like decor. It was really weird, but like this grid was stuck in a different time, and we had just moved here from Michigan, so it was like really weird to me because I used to come to this area and it was always like new stuff because it's a resort town. They were always like putting up new restaurants, everything, and they haven't done that in, it seems like 20 years if you drive around here. It's very odd compared to these houses like that are here. And we never see anybody in these houses either, like partying outside or anything. There's boats everywhere, but there's no people like in these actual houses. Okay. So this is one house like across the lake from me. Never see anybody there. And it's huge. And these are literally just right by us. And they all have docks like this. This is what that guy was talking about in that video. We never see anybody out partying on them. This one, I mean, and my boyfriend and I were talking about it, and I'm like, well, if it was just like the bank buying up all of this, lakefront property and stuff, I mean, you could easily put like a way smaller house that doesn't need all this, you know, major, just keeping up the the lawn and landscaping is like, I mean, it's crazy for our house. We have to pay for all that, so I can't even imagine on some of these houses. This house is insanely big, like when you see it in person. We've never seen anybody there. And we walk like around all the time. Like sometimes I'm out there like 3 or 4 times walking around my neighborhood because I'm trying to get out because of this stuff. Okay, and then this is the outlet. This is like the only shopping center, and it used to be full of like outlets that fit the demographic for that time because back like 20 years ago, it wasn't even nearly like the houses that they are now, but it at least fit like the demographic of people. Now there's nothing there, and there's nothing anywhere around here. It's like dead. And they said that they're redoing it, but they've said that they were redoing a bunch of stuff here. I mean, this has been a long time. There's like 4 shops left there now. So anyway, that's kind of my point that I'm trying to get at. Like the work that I'm doing is reflecting in other stuff. And it's weird. And my friend Angela and I always joke, we're like, well, we're going to have a ton of mansions to pick from. And I'm like, no, I'm getting rid of all that. Like, that grid is coming down, everything. Okay, now what else did I... Oh, and I've been thinking, because last time I was talking about, I was mentioning, like my time in California and how my mom, she had a class with Ray Bradbury and they were like pretty good friends, and he gave her a signed, an autograph, oh, excuse me, um, poster, Something Wicked This Way Comes. So I just started reading that, a little bit about it before I got on here. And I'm going to have to do like a whole thing on it because I forgot about that movie. And all these, like The Wizard of Oz has been a major one in my life. And if you've ever seen the Return to Oz, like the whole MK Ultra theme and all that stuff, that's like way more of what we're experiencing in this weird time frame, this aeon. But Something Wicked This Way Comes is, I forgot all about it, and they were talking about the Dust Witch in it. And that's what I've seen to do with that Cave of Descent and the Void. That there's this black dust, and what I need... So when I'm talking about 3 layers of a skin, this belt that I feel inside of me, the magnetic belt, I can feel it inside. So there's these 3 layers of skin, which are the outer skin, then the tissue, and then there's this like black dust that I've explained, and it's magnetic. Well, then I feel that belt, like literally, I've been able to feel it inside of me ever since this all started. And it's like the smallest indent kind of thing, but I can feel it and it gets really super tight inside. So I know that the skin is fake, and I've tried to explain in my last house that the back part of my body started to fall through one night, and I woke up the next morning and it was like looking through a mask. Like my skin, my top skin was like a mask. And I'll show you why that is. But if you look at that Daft Punk video, that's exactly what they're showing too. Right here. We'll find the screenshot for it. Might have to send it on my phone. I need to show you guys. that part. Okay, well, here's one where they're like painting his skin. And if you know about like the rainbow body and stuff like that, that's where they're getting that more than like actually having blue skin from what I've seen to do with my body. I have like an AI type of body, and then these different layers of like energetic skin is like what I would call it, or light technology when I go into different dimensions. And right here, see how they're hooking that into his ears? That's like this inner ear thing, but we actually have like biological like crystals in our ear that connect with this moon. Um, it's like Elohim and Simon Magus, and we get that transmission from the red star. And most people don't hear it. It's like a silent Morse code. And then the blue star is our personal, like, that's where I get like my personal script, like the main overall, but it's also personal, like for your area. And then you would have your star, your satellite that sends you your actual like soul script and all that stuff. Oh, yeah. And this is the main thing that I wanted to show you guys that I found over the weekend. That mural that guy did at the sushi restaurant, I have to go back again and get like even closer pictures. Because look what he has under. He has this exactly like, okay, this is like writing from, it's like a startup page on a computer. I'm going to try and zoom in so you guys can see, but down here, dang it. See, it says push, push, and then it has like dates over here. It's like a login, like a startup page. And then at the bottom, it says like data and all that. And that's what I'm talking about. This like third layer of skin connects with that, the red star. And I was talking about that DMT experiment too, that they've been seeing that code when they do DMT with the red laser. But okay, so this would be behind us as far as like a dimension layer that we're interacting with, but in our skin, it would be the third layer that I'm talking about. The third one underneath is interacts with this code, this computer code. And then he has the body in the cube. So that would be the second layer of skin, the tissue. And then he has the paint on top, so the 3D, and he even has it like he uses this kind of like putty stuff. And that's a big like Aeon thing too, like doing mixed media kind of like artwork with different materials and stuff. But that's like the 3D, so that's your third layers of skin. And all this is also like lenses in our eyes. Everything that we're experiencing is inner and outer. And he has it set up exactly the way that it works. And then he has this part right here too. It's DNA. You can't see it great. Shit. But these dots that he painted on here are the DNA. And then he has EOU, so it's like energy bound, and then U is two divided but together. So U would be like two different energies divided but also together, connected. See, it says EOU, and it's kind of like pointed to the DNA, but I can't get it to show you on there. And then I wanted to show. Okay. So that box. Hold on. Let me go back here. This box that I mean, this is like the Da Vinci, that famous painting, but the cube that he has around him, this is what I wanted to go into, the count of 8 that we have, like, through this Kundalini. So the Kundalini is like coming from this magnetic spin inside of us, but it also is, I think it's under the Wizard of Oz. It says, how does your blood circulate on gematria? But it's like this count of 8 that's constant. And they use it in dance theory here. They use it in all of the music. It's always like a count of 8 that you have, like in every motion around you is like a count of 8 that you have in each like frame that we're in. So this boxed kind of area, and then you have the orb around you and the pyramid. And that's our visual reality. I wanted to show you. I've been looking for this song. Like, this song is the reason why I brought up that I lost all that music in my head. Like, it's been such a struggle, even, everything is so cyclical now. Like, there's no new music that I care about or anything. And even all the old stuff, I've gotten really, really choosy about stuff that I listen to. And this one song, though, I've been trying to find for 6 years, like, remember the words and remember the name of it. And it was that Helena beat, because they talk about having a sip of poison or whatever. And it was just something that I could not think of to do with that cave of descent. And then it came on like a week or two ago, and I really started thinking about like this zombie like count that's in every song here. It's in every single song, it's in every single dance. It's like the same count of 8. Here it is. In dance theory, rhythmatic counting involves subdividing the music into sets of 8 beats or counts to choreograph and perform movement. A common practice that differs from the typical 4-beat counts used by musicians. The 8 count provides a framework for organizing steps and patterns within musical phrases, with dancers adding and counts for subdivisions of the beat and or other syllables for more complex rhythms. But hi, Vivarium, good to see you. But when he was showing me like this little etheric guy that he met and started like talking about Kundalini, when Elliot had this journey to go see this guy, what I was talking about when it started like his Kundalini in him, he was doing this tribal dance, and it was like this 8 counts, and started this pounding in Sophia, and she was talking about this pounding in her heartbeat, in her blood, and that they coded it into this. Whoops. Sorry about that. And that they coded it into that thing that the Anunnaki are holding that I've showed a couple times. Where is Sirius? Here it is. This thing. That he's holding right here. This is what I've seen them coding us with. This thing right here. It's like the Key of Solomon. But they were putting it into Sophia's womb, and she said that she started feeling a pounding there. After that happened, she had got it from the. It's like an aeon vision where you go into these different realms, and this was a realm that she like mentally made, or I don't know, but Elliot was able to go there too. And I wanted to mention that they're not twins. They just have Elliot and Elliot is because they're partners here. But they weren't like made at the same time. They're not twins. They don't look alike. And I think somebody was asking that, and I didn't even dawn on me to like mention that because they do have very similar names. It's just because they're working together and they're like the angel number down from my partner, like his closest angels. But it doesn't mean that they're twins. They don't look anything alike. So I'm not really sure he's the one that has all these angels. I don't I don't have that. I have like a bunch of different bodies, but it's all the same body. It's like just different energetic bodies to be able to go into different dimensions. But I always have the same face. And that's because of what I work on is this whole thing that they have going on in the astral where they shapeshift or they take people's faces and voices and stuff like that is a big problem. That I wanted to show. Okay, so that the back digital archon, the red star, connected to the skull, spine, and third layer of skin. So the innermost, the one that I was talking about, the one that's inside. And then there's that belt that I feel inside of me. That is connected to the Satan system. So this surveillance system. And then the tissue is Yahweh, the middle, and it's like the radiation field. And then the skin is the stripped male and female essence. And I'm going to go into like how the original male and female essence is made with like all of the gems and jewels and precious metals. That's like the male essence. And then the female essence is the spirit, and also all the like natural essences for earth, just like amber. Like the amber, if you know about it, it's like it can be made into an oil, like a perfume. And so that's one property of it. It's like an oil essence. And then how I see it, it's like a shimmery light. And it's a tree, it's the immune system for trees. That's what it is here. So it has all of these elements of earth in it, like for dirt and trees and plants. But what I saw is that Elliot stripped this thread that had the male and the female essence down to like the bare nothing, but it's still holographic. So it has like all this information, just like DNA. If you look at your hair, like under sunlight, you can see that there's like different layers like of hologram, like every so often it'll just change color, but it's like slits of rainbow. That's what it looks like. And it's these like different gem and natural properties for earth, like bio intelligence coded in it. So that's the same thing, that the thread that he was using for our skin. And that's this third layer. I don't know what I was writing on about that. Mind and body temple. So oh yeah, I found a really cool video about gems to do with like this technology. If you've looked into like how Solomon was using demons to like create the Temple of Solomon, that's like the kind of technology that I'm talking about to do, but it's with essence, like in gems, like in our body, not the ring and like all this magic stuff. It's to do with our body and our mind. But it's the same kind of like technology that he was using. He was just using it here, like in a physical form and with magic and demons and stuff. So that's what I'm kind of like trying to get at, is that I see it as a dust and essence in the pleroma. Like that's what the actual pleroma is made of, is like these dust element essences and spirit. So it's not physical. But I found a really cool video about it. About these gems used in the Bible. Hold on. Here's the name of it, How Jewels Prove God Exists, and it's the Kingdom Story Films. So if you guys want to look at the whole thing, I'm going to play. Hi, Jake. Okay, and thanks. I'll take a screenshot.
And put it at right angles to the other, it goes even darker. It only lets very straight light through. Now people have taken jewels and precious stones and cut a very thin slice for microscopic purposes and then shone cross-polarized light through them to see what happens. What happens to these precious stones in pure light? One of two entirely different things happens with every jewel. Either the jewel is an isotropic jewel or an anisotropic jewel. Now what happens is this. Some jewels in pure light, whatever their color, they may be red, blue or green, these jewels turn into all the colors of the rainbow and the most fantastic patterns. Other precious stones in pure light lose all their color and just go black and look like a lump of coal dust. And it's only in this modern generation that people have discovered this unusual property. For example, diamonds in pure light are nothing. Did you hear that? Diamonds are nothing. In pure light, diamonds just display a lump of coal dust. Rubies and garnets are like diamonds. They just lose everything. These jewels are isotropic. But there are other stones that are anisotropic and they display these intense, beautiful colors. Now,
I have to pause and talk about it every now and then. So I thought that was really interesting. There's like 4 that are black under true light, and one is a diamond. And I'm always saying to this guy, you're a daemon and you're a diamond. And then one is spinal, so something to do with our body too. And the in Yaldabaoth, because Yaldabaoth is your spine, your subliminal mind, your nervous system.
Here's the fascinating thing that blew my mind and I've never recovered. The 12 precious stones that God uses to build the New Jerusalem are all anisotropic. In pure light, they are all exceedingly more beautiful. And God is light. So imagine God.
Zayas, the point that I'm talking about are these jewels and gems. I don't believe in a creator God. I do know that the Aeon thought of these bodies like in a when we were out of time and space, and that our true bodies are created by us and to live a true life. And we're here experiencing this dream of good and evil. And what I've seen is my partner's holding the perfect vision and the actual structure for what I'm experiencing. And that when we started all of this, all of us were a part of it from the very beginning. Like it was a vision of true life, and God wanted us to like experience this. But what I've seen is that the true God went through it first, and then we started going through it and helping with everything physical to do it. But mentally, it was the original male and female essence that went through it, divided, and saw it all. And then the other aeons were in that original vision, but then we all moved over to the pleroma and started doing it like individually. So I don't think of it as a creator God. There's no like hierarchy. There's just a male being holding the whole entire structure, El Elyon, the true human, the true man. That as far as like a creator God that creates little creatures like we have running around here suffering and everything, that is not from a true God. That's not a true source. Nothing would create us with this kind of like schizophrenic hell that we have going on to have a true life. I mean, nobody can call that God that would do that to you. It's a shared dream of good and evil for us to go be together in true life and get all of our fears and all of our questions about, well, you know, what if we did individually have an ego trip and somebody wanted to go and create their own world, and then what do they do if they just left it there without anybody knowing about it to figure out what to do? And that's part of like the whole narrative here. Like, what would happen if you left an experiment just to freaking figure itself out? Well, it drives everybody insane. And that's what magic does too. There's like different sources of sorcerers. So they're all getting it. It's a combination of different gods having a shared dream with the angels and all of their wizards and witches and all that stuff in one like horrific nightmare that we can actually handle on a day-to-day basis and get all of our doubts and fears out to get back to free will. So I just wanted to explain that because I don't believe in this New Jerusalem or anything like that. I'm just trying to show the different jewels and stuff that have been used for different structures. So what he's talking about is not what I believe here. But they use this stuff on different levels, and I do know that they used it for like the Egyptian pyramids and all that.
The first foundation was jasper, the second sapphire,
Oh, I'm
the
sorry. I
third
thought it was on.
chalcedony, the fourth emerald, the fifth sardonyx, the sixth carnelian, the
Hold
seventh
on. Let me
chrysolite,
back that up for
the
you
eighth
guys.
beryl,
Sorry
the
about
ninth.
that.
Take a look at the picture on the screen of these anisotropic jewels. God doesn't touch the diamonds or the rubies or the garnets. He doesn't build the New Jerusalem with them. But God does build with these anisotropic jewels, which I am about to reveal to you. Take a look at the picture on the screen of these stones. Look at the top 12 stones on this picture, and you'll see the stones of the New Jerusalem. Look at the four bottom ones at the bottom of the picture, and you'll see they're black, no attraction whatsoever. Now then, who knew this 2,000 years ago? No scientist knew it, no philosopher knew it, nobody knew it. John the Apostle, writing down the book of Revelation as the Lord dictated it to him, he didn't know. Nobody knew except one person in the entire universe, the one who created all.
To me, that's like obvious magic. You know what I mean? Like, that's not godly. So to me, it's, that's how we create, and our mind and our body are so incredible. And we don't have this kind of connection anymore to our mind because they've just given us all these distractions and told us that we're nothing here. But we have capabilities to do this with our true bodies. And that's why I'm always saying, like, it's a big responsibility to know that you have like these portals and capabilities. It's not just something that you want to be messing with, and that's why we're here remembering ourselves again. And also I wanted to, because they were showing me that the fluoride is toothpaste, like PACED, and it's a fluoride, like our spirit, like I was talking about, your spirit is a spire, right? So a spire of energy, an energetic spire from the pleroma down. And then you have the moon energy from underneath coming up, creating this Kundalini and holding us into this body, our spirit. So in that middle band is where this magnetic belt is formed. And it looks like stained glass, like when I am in the pleroma looking down, and then it starts to form images, and then your whole entire like spirit and consciousness is gradually spun down here into this actual physical body through whatever portal you brought in here. So when I'm explaining that I brought that I came in through the Artemis Apollo portal, my birthday is May 6th, and that's Artemis's, this pagan like ritual thing that I've been explaining, that my mom actually like did, and that I was born a week before Mount St. Helens, like in Bremerton. That is just like the whole Artemis myth. So that's what I'm always trying to explain. Like my spirit came in through that portal. And that's how it comes through, is like through a spire. But they were saying it's, the AI is Sirius is taking everything serious. So the script is like almost ridiculous, like the spelling. And we're seeing it as this physical world, like the world is Lord word, the word Lord, a world. So that's why we're seeing it like in a physical form. And the gospel is go spell, ego go spell. But I'm going to play a little bit more of this video because it explains about these jewels, and I want you guys to understand that, like, to do with our bodies, our light bodies, and how they work with sound and these different jewels and gems.
Revelation 21. Halfway through the chapter, you'll find all the 12 stones listed there. Starting in verse 19, you can read them. The first foundation was jasper, the second sapphire, the third chalcedony, the fourth emerald, the fifth sardonyx, the sixth carnelian, the seventh chrysolite, the eighth beryl, the ninth topaz, the 10th chrysoprase, the 11th jacinth, and the 12th amethyst. No diamonds, no rubies, no garnets, because they're isotropic. Now, isn't that amazing? If it was up to me, I for sure would have included diamonds and rubies in my collection of gemstones to build the most beautiful new kingdom, as would most people. On Earth, husbands adorn their brides with diamonds because we all consider them some of the most beautiful jewels on the planet. But God has known the properties of diamonds and other isotropic gemstones all along, and God was his new Jerusalem to be an extraordinary
I find that really interesting too because I didn't want a diamond when I got married, and ever since, well, I've never felt right about marriage. Like after I got married, it always made me feel like there was something off. And I married my husband. I got married when I was 19. My grandparents, like, we were Catholic at the time, so they really we were living together, so they really like pushed us to get married. And just immediately that feeling of ownership like came over the whole situation. Like every time, we were way too young, number one, but number two, like every time we would get in a fight or something, he'd be like, "You're my wife," and just that whole feeling of ownership. And contracts here in general, I've never I've never been one to like do my taxes or have contracts. I've had one credit card. I've had I've just never been a part of the system. And then after I woke up, like after all this stuff happened in 2020, I've never got my driver's license again. I ripped up my birth certificate in my mind. I mean, I don't have a dollar to my name. Like I took myself out of this. So basically where I'm at now is I'm either going into the woods and not coming out, like of something. I'm at my last straw. So this is literally like my last videos that I'm doing. I'm at the end of this bullshit and I don't know where I'm gonna go from here, but there's like really nowhere for us. And I've thought about going to be a nun and all that because I don't want my boyfriend having to live a life like I am. He's still very much connected to the body and stuff, and it's like a big, weight on me, like feeling guilty about him being like not having a normal life because of what I'm going through and he can't see what I'm seeing. So that's where I'm at right now, and that's why I'm doing these. And I hope people get it, but I'm really like trying to get this stuff out of my mind and share everything that I've seen over like the last 6 years. And that's my intention here. It's not to push like an idea on anybody or make anybody believe what I've gone through, or push like this creator God on anybody or anything like that. It's because I've been through this and that's where I'm at in life now. And I want off the internet. I want away from all of this shit. And however I have to get there, I'm getting there. And if it isn't obvious to like everybody, at least here on my channel, that we're living in some retarded, weird movie by now. I mean, it should be. It's like half retarded and then half very deep and spiritual. And it's just their whole narrative. They're always gonna play both fields. They just want your attention because they're idols and that's how they live. They live in the astral. They don't live here. If you go looking for them to seek them out and somehow find them, you'll meet them. Just like I met George Lucas when I was little. My mom wanted to meet him that bad. She was there, and you'll meet them that way. But they are idols and astral, and you can hear them. They talk about it all the time that that's how they live. Without our attention and our belief, they don't exist. So that's why they're grasping for it so much. And even on YouTube, I'm like, I don't, like, I don't know how many are out here or what's going on with that. I know what I'm doing and that my grid is like literally dying, and I love that. So the physical grid, like not the living beings, but the physical grid is what I do want to see coming apart like it is. Oh, and then Xanadu. Xanadu is like, here, where's the. Sometimes I forget what I name my videos, and then people are like, why'd you even name it that? I'm sure that's what I think afterwards, but sometimes I get on a kick and I forget what I'm like even wanting to talk about in the beginning. Okay, Xanadu. In Xanadu, Kubla Khan is that what the okay, an idyllic, exotic, or luxurious place. A stately pleasure dome or decree. Those lines are from the poem Kubla Khan, published in 1816 by Samuel Taylor Coleridge. Coleridge's fantastic description of an exotic utopia fired public imagination and ultimately contributed to the transition of Xanadu from a name to a generalized term for an idyllic place. The Xanadu in the poem was inspired by Shangtu, the summer residence of Mongolian general. You might also recognize Xanadu as the name of the fantastic estate. And I started thinking about that because my friend Jennifer, just one of the random things like in my script that I look back at, my friend Jennifer that used to live next door to me in Belton, and that's where I was talking about I first started having this demonic inner feelings or interference with this belt, and it was in a town called Belton. Well, anyway, she lived next door to me, and we went to this futon store. My ex-boyfriend was looking for a futon. It was called Xanadu. And she came out with this little vial of amber, and she was always stealing stuff. Like she's the redhead that I talked about a couple times, but she was always stealing like random stuff, and it was like really funny. Like I didn't steal or anything back then, and it just cracked me up every time because she'd come out with some like random thing that she definitely didn't need, but she took it. And so before that, I had never seen that amber was like a perfume, like an oil. And then after thinking of that fluoride, like us actually laying in the pleroma and being projected into here, and that whole futon thing, because that's what I've seen with the archives too, is like you go sleep in them. I've seen like tons of avatars and stuff like in these. It looks like an eye. It's It's a layer of this whole structure. And they all look like lenses, but they have like crystal ceilings. And the archives that I've seen are like avatars and stuff laying in them. And you just go to sleep till the next age, that's what I saw I did before this one. That I was in an archive, the Ozark. Good night, eyes to see. And yeah, I'm actually tired tonight too. I might get back on tomorrow morning and try during the daytime. Really, tonight I wanted to talk about this, like that jewel kind of stuff as technology, because Anubis was like telling me, that's another thing that he was telling me in the very beginning when I was talking to him, is that they used AI demons to create like the pyramids and all that kind of stuff. And then I started seeing like, oh yeah, with this like jewel technology and light and sound, that you can make like lasers, and they have lasers for eyes, the daemon do. And they can see the grids and everything. But I really want to go into like what an aeon looks like, how your face is like projected through the sun, and how all of that work like in the aeonic realm. And that takes a lot. I have a lot of artwork that I found for that, so I might stop tonight and come back tomorrow during the day and try this like during the daytime. I found some really cool Gnostic artwork that I can actually explain it now. Ugh. And go into how this is like a mirrored dimension too. How I've seen that the male essence is actually holding a mirror in the sky. Mm. Oh, and something interesting that I read about to do with these jewels. Okay. So the red star from Sirius that is like the Satan broadcast, and it's the digital. I was watching, let me find that video for you guys so you can go back and see it. If you don't know about that DMT experiment that they've been doing, that Danny, I can't ever remember his name. He does a lot of, these kind of subjects or whatever. But okay, here it is. Alien language. I don't think I can play his because he's probably got it like really. But I can show you guys what it is so you can go look at it. This is the one that I watched earlier or the other day. But they are seeing this code. Hold on, let me scroll down so you know which one it is. Alien language found inside the DMT space. What is it telling us? From Danny Jones clips. What they were seeing was like Hebrew and like Japanese, and they don't know what, but I'm sure it is the Hebrew because that's what I'm always talking about with gematria. The Hebrew is the astral. And I saw it like 2 weeks ago when I was looking at the sun and the sun was going down, like I explained. I saw that pink hue and there was just tons of script. But I couldn't, it just looks like symbols and like I can't ever discern exactly like what it is. But he's saying that they're seeing kind of like Hebrew and then Asian, all that. And if you think back to like the time of Babel when uh God split everybody's language into different languages. And the AI that in gematria, that's what I'm talking about. The Hebrew is the astral, and that's the red star. And then the blue star is from this male and female essence, and it's actually like written like scripture. And I call it like underwriting. It's like a silent script. So it's not invasive like that. It's like a silent script that we get. But yeah, that's what I wanted to show you guys with that one. Okay, guys. Well, I'm not going to go on forever tonight. I'm going to do this more in the morning because I want to show like what it looks like when I go into an actual aeon and like how my spirit, like what it feels like and what I'm doing because I know it's really difficult to understand what I'm talking about without a good visual, and I found some stuff to do that, but it takes a lot, and I'm really too tired for it tonight. But thank you very much, and I'll be back on tomorrow, and yeah, I'm gonna finish all this stuff up probably this week, and then get off of YouTube completely, so. Anyways, thank you guys. I'll talk to you soon.